That's it, Blues! Man City are back where we belong, right at the top of the Premier League table. It wasn't the flashiest game we've ever seen, but that 1-0 win over Burnley is exactly the kind of gritty performance that wins titles. If you're a real City fan and you want to stay ahead of every single update from the ETIHAD without the fluff, you're in the right place. Stick around until the very end, because what Pep Guardiola just said in the dressing room changes everything for these final 5 games. Before we dive into the details, do me a massive favour, smash that like button and subscribe to Man City Sentinel. We're building the best community for the Blues, and we need you with us. The vibe around the club right now is absolutely electric. We all knew that going to Burnley wouldn't be a walk in the park, especially with the pressure of the title race reaching a boiling point. But Erling Haaland, as usual, didn't need much time to remind everyone why he's the best in the business. Just 5 minutes in, a brilliant bit of work from Jeremy Doku on the wing, a perfect ball in, and Haaland did what Haaland does. That goal didn't just secure 3 points, it sent a massive message to Arsenal and everyone else. We are back on top, and honestly, the momentum feels unstoppable. But it's what happened after the final whistle that really has everyone talking. According to top insiders over at City Extra, the atmosphere in the locker room wasn't just celebratory, it was intense. You might expect a bit of a party after reclaiming first place, but Pep Guardiola has a very different vision for this squad right now. The boss didn't let the players get too comfortable. Instead of just handing out hugs, he immediately shifted the focus. He's a perfectionist, we know that, but this felt different. It felt like a man who knows that any slight slip-up could cost us the historic finish we're all dreaming of. Pep's message was loud and clear. He stood in front of the group and emphasised that while the Burnley win was vital, it's already history. The mental fatigue at this stage of the season is real, but Guardiola is demanding another level of psychological strength. He's pushing this vince ogni costo mentality, winning at any cost. With only 5 matches left in the Premier League and that massive FA Cup semi-final against Southampton on the horizon, there is zero room for complacency. The specific quote making the rounds from those inner circles is simple but powerful. Let's go! On to the next! It sounds basic, but for this Manchester City team, it's a war cry. It tells you that the joy of being top of the league is secondary to the job that still needs to be done. Pep is essentially telling the world that City aren't just looking at the table, they are looking at the next battle. This kind of leadership is exactly why we've been so dominant. He doesn't want the players looking at the Arsenal score or checking the goal difference, even though that's what put us in first place. He wants them focused on the grass right in front of them. You could see the impact of this mindset even during the match. Think about the rotation. No Rodri, no Ruben Dias, 2 of our biggest leaders on the pitch. In past seasons, a City side without those 2 might have looked a bit shaky in a tough away game, but the tactical discipline was spot on. Guardiola is trusting the depth of this squad more than ever, and that trust comes from the work they do behind the scenes. When Pep tells the guys to keep their heads down, he means everyone, from the starters to the youngsters, getting their chance. The implication here is massive for us fans. It means we aren't just watching a team trying to hang on, we're watching a team that is being actively driven by a manager who is obsessed with the finish line. The pressure is immense, but Guardiola is using that pressure as fuel. He isn't letting the noise from the media or the title race distractions get inside the building. By telling the players to move on to the next immediately, he's cutting out the opportunity for arrogance or relaxation. It's a ruthless approach, and frankly, it's exactly what's needed when you're fighting for a treble or a consecutive league title. The fact that we are ahead of Arsenal now, even if it's just on goal difference, gives us that psychological edge. But Pep knows that the goal difference only matters if you keep winning. Every single tackle, every clearance from guys like Kusanov or Gvardiol, and every sprint from Doku is part of this larger machine. The victory over Burnley might have been a narrow 1-0, but the way Pep handled the aftermath shows that he sees the bigger picture. We are in the driver's seat, but the boss is making sure nobody falls asleep at the wheel. Now, we have to talk about the one thing that's kept every Blue up at night since the team sheets dropped against Burnley. I'm talking about Rodri. Let's be completely honest. Seeing a City lineup without our number 16 is enough to give any fan a bit of a heart rate spike. He's the engine, the heartbeat, the guy who keeps everything glued together. And while we got the job done at Turf Moor, the big question mark remains. Just how long are we going to be without the best holding midfielder on the planet? The updates coming out right now are a bit of a mixed bag, and it's got the whole fan base on edge. According to the latest reports from the guys over at City Extra, citing sources from Sky Sports Premier League, Pep Guardiola is playing his cards extremely close to his chest. When he was grilled by the journalists after the final whistle about Rodri's fitness, he didn't give us the all clear we were all hoping for. He kept it vague, saying the situation is being monitored day by day. Now, when Pep says, "We will see," day by day, it usually means one of two things. Either it's a minor knock, and they are just being extra cautious because we can't afford to lose him for the long term. Or it's one of those tricky muscle issues that could keep him sidelined for a crucial week or two. And let's look at the calendar. We don't have a week or two. We have 5 cup finals left in the league and a massive date at Wembley for the FA Cup. This is the business end of the season where heroes are made, and not having your main man in the middle of the park is a massive tactical headache for the coaching staff. It's not just about his passing or his ability to break up play, it's the leadership. With Ruben Dias also being managed carefully and missing out on the Burnley game, City were missing 2 of their biggest vocal leaders. That's why that 1-0 win actually feels more impressive the more you think about it. We've seen this team struggle in the past when Rodri isn't there to provide that insurance policy in front of the back 4. He's usually the guy who puts out the fires before they even start. Without him, everyone else has to work 10% harder, cover more ground, and stay even more disciplined. Guardiola was very open about this challenge. He admitted that he doesn't know yet if Rodri will be ready for the next big test. He kept repeating, "I don't know yet. We'll see day by day. We will see." That uncertainty is exactly what the rivals are looking for. You can bet the folks over at Arsenal are watching these injury reports like hawks, hoping that our midfield general stays in the treatment room a little longer. But that's where the beauty of this current City squad comes in. The fact that we could go to a place like Burnley, keep a clean sheet, and control the game without Rodri and Dias says everything about the depth Pep has built here. It's a testament to the next man-up mentality that is ingrained in the DNA of the City Football Academy and the first-team squad. We aren't just a team of individuals, we are a system. And while Rodri is arguably the most important piece of that system, the machine didn't break down without him. It might have hummed a little differently. Maybe it wasn't as silky smooth in the transitions, but it still produced the result we needed. Think about the pressure on the guys who did step in. When you know the title is on the line and you're filling the shoes of a guy who hasn't lost a game he's played in for what feels like forever, that's a lot of weight on your shoulders. But the composure was there. This is what we mean when we say the squad depth is our biggest weapon. We've seen other teams crumble when 1 or 2 key players go down, but City just keeps finding ways to adapt. The medical staff at Carrington are probably working overtime right now. Every City fan is refreshing their feed waiting for that one clip of Rodri back in training gear. Until then, it's all about management. Pep is a master at this. He knows when to push a player and when to protect them. If Rodri isn't 100%, he won't risk him, even with the stakes this high. Because as much as we need him for the next Premier League game, we need him for the FA Cup and the potential trophy lift at the end of May. So, the Rodri watch continues. It's a bit of a nervous wait, but we have to trust the process. The day-by-day update might sound frustrating, but it also means he hasn't been ruled out for the season, which is the biggest relief we could ask for. We've survived the first hurdle without him, and the team showed they have the backbone to grind out results when the going gets tough. That's the mark of champions. We don't just rely on one name, we rely on the badge and the plan. While we wait for more news on our Spanish midfield king, we can't overlook the guys who actually stepped up and made sure we didn't miss a beat on the pitch. The tactical shift was subtle, but it worked. It shows that Pep has a plan B and a plan C ready to go at a moment's notice. And honestly, seeing the team win without the indispensables might be the most encouraging sign of all as we head into these final 5 games. While we're all holding our breath over the Rodri situation, we absolutely have to give credit where it's due. The performance against Burnley might have looked narrow on the scoreboard, but if you actually watched the game, you saw a Manchester City side that is deeper and more talented than almost anyone realises. It wasn't just about survival, it was about a collective masterclass from players who aren't always in the headlines every single week. When Pep Guardiola decides to rotate the squad in the middle of a title race, he's making a massive statement of trust. And boy, did the lads repay that trust on the pitch. The standout name, the one everyone is buzzing about on social media right now, is Ryan Cherki. What a shift from the lad. Filling in and creating that much spark in the final third is exactly why City brought him to the ETIHAD. He was officially named Man of the Match. And honestly, it wasn't even close. Cherki was everywhere, weaving through that Burnley low block like it wasn't even there. He brought a level of creativity and flair that kept the defenders guessing all afternoon. It's one thing to have talent, but it's another to show that level of composure when the pressure of the Premier League lead is sitting on your shoulders. He didn't just play well, he ran the show. And it wasn't just the flair players catching the eye. Let's talk about the backline for a second. With no Ruben Dias to bark orders, someone had to step up and be the brick wall at the back. Enter Abdulkadir Kusanov. Talk about a massive performance from a young defender. He looked like he'd been playing in a Guardiola system for 10 years. His positioning was spot on, his distribution was crisp, and he didn't give the Burnley strikers a sniff of the goal. Seeing a rotation player come in and look that comfortable is a dream come true for us fans. It shows that the training groundwork is paying off, and that the recruitment team knew exactly what they were doing when they brought him into this defensive unit. By the way, if you're loving this breakdown, and you want to keep getting these deep dives into every City performance, make sure you've hit that like button. We're pushing to reach more citizens across the globe, and your support really makes the difference. Also, drop a comment below and let me know, who was your man of the match? Was it Cherki, or did someone else catch your eye? Now, let's get back into why this collective effort was so impressive. The stats from the game tell a story of total dominance. Even though the score was only 1-0, the expected goals, the XG, was through the roof. We were creating high-quality chances left and right. It was one of those games where the Burnley keeper probably had the game of his life. Otherwise, we're talking about a 3 or 4-0 blowout. But that's football, right? Sometimes the ball just doesn't want to go in more than once. The important thing is the control City maintained. Even without our usual anchors in midfield, the shape of the team remained perfect. This performance really highlights the power of the group that Pep always talks about. We often get caught up in the Haaland show or the Rodri show, but this win was about the collective. It was about guys like Matheus Nunes and Mateo Kovacic holding the line, and players like Rico Lewis and Manuel Akanji being flexible in their roles. It's this versatility that makes City so hard to plan against. If you take out one star, another one steps right into the spotlight. The specialist reports coming out of the @City_Extra circles are highlighting this exact point. The technical staff is reportedly delighted with how the fringe players, though it feels wrong to call them that now, handled the tactical demands of the game. Cherki's ability to find pockets of space and Kusanov's aerial dominance weren't just happy accidents. They were calculated parts of the game plan. It gives Pep so much breathing room for these final 5 games. He knows he doesn't have to run his starters into the ground because he has hungry, elite-level talent waiting on the bench. This depth is going to be the deciding factor in the title race. While our rivals are starting to look a bit leggy and relying on the same 11 players every week, City looks fresh. We're rotating, we're winning, and we're building confidence across the entire roster. When you have a MOTM performance from someone like Cherki and a defensive masterclass from Kusanov, it sends a shiver down the spine of every other team in the league. It tells them that Manchester City isn't just 11 world-class players, it's a world-class squad. The consistency we're seeing right now is unreal. To dominate a game like that, with so much rotation, and keep a clean sheet away from home, is the hallmark of a team that is destined for silverware. The focus now shifts to how these players maintain this level. If Cherki can keep this form and Kusanov continues to grow, our defensive and creative options are looking better than they have all season. It's a great problem for Pep to have, and it's a terrifying reality for anyone trying to take that trophy away from the ETIHAD. Now, let's look at the bigger picture, because this is where things get truly intense. With that win at Turf Moor, the table looks exactly how we want it to look. Manchester City at the very top. It's a beautiful sight, isn't it? We're level on points with Arsenal, but thanks to that clinical efficiency and our superior goal difference, we've reclaimed the throne. But listen, being top today is great, but being top after the final whistle of the season is all that matters. We have 5 monumental Premier League games left, and every single one of them is a cup final. There is absolutely no margin for error. The atmosphere in the blue half of Manchester right now is one of pure focus. You can feel it coming from the training ground and the stands. The buzz is all about this 5 games to glory mentality. Sky Sports and the top insiders are all pointing to the same thing. City have the psychological edge. We've been here before. We know how to handle the pressure when the trophy is within touching distance, whereas our rivals are starting to feel the weight of the world on their shoulders. That experience of being in the trenches and coming out on top is something you just can't buy. But let's be real for a second. The road ahead isn't exactly a walk in the park. We've got some tricky hurdles to clear. Next up, we're heading away to face Everton. Now, we all know that an away day at Goodison or their new ground is always a battle. They'll be fighting for every scrap, and we'll need to bring that same grit we showed against Burnley. Then we've got Brentford coming to the Etihad. On paper, we should handle them, but in this league, if you switch off for even a second, you get punished. Pep Guardiola knows this better than anyone, which is why he's keeping the hammer down. And it's not just the league we're juggling. We've got that massive trip to Wembley for the FA Cup semi-final against Southampton. It's a relentless schedule, but this is what being a City fan is all about. We want to be in every competition, fighting for every piece of silverware until the very last day. The news roundup from the analytical side of things shows that City's XG and defensive solidity are peaking at the perfect time. We aren't just winning games, we're controlling them. We're suffocating teams, and that's a terrifying prospect for anyone left on our calendar. The feeling within the squad, according to those close to the club, is that they are ready for the 5 finals. There's no talk of if we win the league, the talk is about how we win the next game. That shift in focus from the long-term goal to the immediate task is a classic Guardiola masterstroke. He's managed to block out all the noise about the title race and turn these final 5 games into a mini-season of their own. If we win our mini-season, the trophy stays in Manchester. It's that simple, yet that difficult. Make no mistake, the pressure on Arsenal is massive now. They're the ones chasing us again. They're the ones looking at our goal difference and wondering how they're going to bridge that gap. Every time Haaland scores or we keep a clean sheet with Kusanov and Guardiola at the back, it's a psychological blow to everyone else. We are the benchmarks. We are the team everyone is trying to figure out, and right now nobody has the answer. As we head into this final sprint, the energy needs to be at an all-time high. The players are doing their bit on the pitch, and we've got to keep that same energy in the stands and online. The title is in our hands. If we maintain this level of consistency, if we keep this on to the next attitude that Pep has instilled, there's nobody in this league who can stop us. It's about composure, it's about quality, and most importantly, it's about that Manchester City spirit. 5 games. That's all that stands between us and another historic moment. The depth is there, the manager is the best in the business, and the momentum is firmly on our side. The win against Burnley was the spark, and now we're ready to let the fire roar all the way to the finish line. Every tackle, every pass, and every goal from here on out is a building block for the trophy presentation. Get ready, Blues, because this final stretch is going to be one wild, golden ride. So, where does this leave us? Honestly, it's a great time to be a Blue. We are sitting at the summit, the squad is showing incredible character, and even with the stress of the Rodri injury news, there's a sense of calm authority about this team. Pep Guardiola has managed to do what he does best, turn a high-pressure title race into a series of manageable steps. The win against Burnley wasn't just 3 points, it was a psychological statement. It told the rest of the league that even when we rotate, even when our leaders are in the treatment room, the Manchester City machine does not stop. Looking ahead, the focus is razor sharp. We have the FA Cup semi-final against Southampton at Wembley and those 5 remaining Premier League hurdles. If we play with the same defensive discipline we saw from Kusanov and the creative spark Ryan Cherki provided, there's no reason we can't sweep everything in front of us. The momentum is firmly in our favour, and the squad depth is proving to be our ultimate secret weapon. It's going to be a wild ride to the finish line, and you don't want to miss a single second of it. We'll be right here at the Man City Sentinel, breaking down every press conference, every injury update, and every tactical shift as we hunt down more silverware. If you haven't already, make sure you've hit that subscribe button and turned on the notifications. We're in the end game now, and we need every single one of you with us. Thanks for watching, keep the faith, and as always, Simon City.